and welcome to Ready, Reset, Go. This is a series of conversations about jobs, training, funding, and you put on by Northwestern Michigan College. My name is Diana Fairbanks. In this part of our series, we are talking with Thompson Surgical, as well as Jason Slade, who is with NMC and our technical division, Paige Sansonetti, who's from NMC's financial aid division. We have Stephanie Myers and Nick Pupil joining us from Thompson Surgical today. As you know, Ready, Reset, Go is a series of conversations that we're holding for you to let you know about some great jobs that are available in the local Traverse City area, training to help support you if you need it, and of course, financial aid to help you pay for it. These conversations are a great way to let you know about these opportunities and to give you some other resources if you think it might be a good fit for you. We want the conversations to be short and accessible. We know you have a lot on your plate right now, so we're here to be a resource for you and to help you. We also have some other conversations in this series, and you can find more at nmc.edu/reset for all the latest information. So let's get started. Let's join Stephanie and Nick here this morning. Thank you both for joining us. Thompson Surgical, really, you guys are doing some great work and have some really interesting jobs available. Stephanie, let's begin with you. What are some of the jobs that you have available now?
So right now, jobs that would relate to the training and education that NMC offers would be located in our engineering department and our production department. We employ welders right now, and we have at times employed engineering technicians. We don't have an opening for an engineering technician right now, but we're always accepting resumes. We've been experiencing a lot of growth over the years, and so we do like to just continue accepting those resumes, even though we don't have something open, because it is something that we could see opening up again in the future.
Yeah, sounds like there's a lot of opportunity. Nick, I know that you mentioned that there have been some great success stories with Thompson Surgical about some employees that you've connected with through NMC. Can you tell us one of those?
Yeah, so our vice president currently, Josh Delicta, when he started at Thompson, he started out buffing parts. Then he moved up into the R&D department, and from there he went to operations manager, and now he's in the vice president role currently. So that just goes to show that hard work will take you where you need to go.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity for growth, which I think is really important, especially for people who are looking for a job, but maybe looking for a new job and really want some room to, plant some roots, but also to grow their branches as well. It sounds like there could be some good opportunities. Stephanie, when it comes to a kind of employee you're looking for, what kind of skill set or interest or personality is there one particular kind of set of traits that you're looking for when it comes to surgical surgical employees for Thompson Surgical?
Yes. Well, we are definitely a family business. Everybody is very close, and we really value our culture at Thompson. So we are looking for someone who's going to be a team player and who also values that and would like to be part of the Thompson family. So that's really high up on there. We're also looking for someone who is willing to work hard. As you heard with Josh's story, the hard work took him really far. It is a competitive job market, and so those hard workers are really going to stand out, and it's going to enable them to move up in our business. And then as far as education, we are looking for someone who's coachable and someone who's willing to learn on the job. Of course, what they learn at NMC is going to get them far at Thompson, but we can offer on-the-job training too. So we're going to want someone who is able to continue learning and is interested in that as well.
And Nick, when I first started talking with Jason about some of the partnerships between Thompson and NMC, and he mentioned welding, I honestly was a little bit surprised by that, but then he went through and talked about some of the opportunities. What are some of those skill sets that we might not necessarily think of, or areas of growth within Thompson that maybe have some unique opportunities for people?
Well, in-house currently we TIG weld and silver solder. I went through the NMC welding program, and we also currently have about 7 former NMC welding program students. With the program, it gives the students a great foundation that we can easily build on. What we also in-house buff, blast, and passivate parts. We also laser mark. So basically from raw material to a finished product is what we do.
And what kind of products?
We
Obviously surgical, but
Yeah, we specialize in retraction. So
Okay.
everything to hold you open for surgery
Yeah. So
is our. Go ahead, Steph.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was just going to say, whenever the surgeon needs to access a part of the patient's body, they have to get through all the different layers of skin and muscle and tissues, organs. And so we design the products that give the surgeons exposure to get in there and see what they have to operate on. A lot of people don't realize that retractors are used in every surgery, and that the visualization of what the surgeon's doing is so critical to the success of the surgery. So, really everyone at Thompson is working on something that's going to help doctors do their jobs better and hopefully save people's lives too.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't think I had thought about it through that way, but what a great way to take your technical hands-on skills, knowing that you're going to help, down the line, help save lives. I think that's really a great opportunity and quite inspiring. So thank you so much. Let's turn it over now to Jason Slade. He's the director of the tech division at Northwestern Michigan College. Jason, it sounds like there's just about any hands-on job you can think of. If we have the training available, that Thompson can help put it into play. What kind of training does NMC offer, and how have you partnered with Thompson over the years?
So I think Thompson Surgical is pretty unique because they're drawing people in from a couple different programs. As you heard Nick say, he started out in our welding program, and that is a great pathway. With our welding program, it's pretty unique because it is truly stackable. And by that, we mean a student can come in and get what we call a welding Cert 1 in about a year. And then within another semester, they can have a second certification or certificate that now gives them welding skills, plus some additional skills in machining, in print reading, and some of the manufacturing processes that make them a better employee for Thompson. And then from there, they can actually scale it up and get an associate's degree if that maybe allows them to have more opportunities at Thompson Surgical, or maybe that's something that they want as part of their professional development. So welding is a great program because once they get that initial cert, they can become a valuable part of Nick and Stephanie's team. Now, on the other side of the house is that engineering tech. That's an associate's degree program, and we give people those core foundations in engineering technology. So that would be those CAD skills, those design and drafting skills, those basic manufacturing, those electrical, that allow them to maybe assist in that R&D team or help out on the manufacturing side. So two different avenues. And the beauty of our programs are you don't have to decide up front. We can select classes that work in both programs so that you have credits that count whichever way you decide to go.
I really like that stackable too, because I think, some people think about college and they're like, wow, that's a real commitment. I don't know if I have the time. I don't know, if I have 4 years. What I hear you saying, Jason, is it can meet whatever you need with your availability and your schedule.
Oh, absolutely on there. And we try to encourage that. Most our welding students are working. And so they are working and then going to class. And so we try to run the classes in large chunks of time. So we run labs for 4 hours twice a week on there, and then they're very skill based. So you're not wasting any time. You're going in there, you're doing a weld, it's getting assessed by the instructor. He or she's deciding if it meets qualifications. If not, they redo it. But at the end of that program or the end of that class, you're very proficient. And that's kind of one of our goals, that when you are in industry, you're representing NMC well, and that program definitely does.
Well, and knowing the connections you have within the industry, how do you tailor the work within the class? I mean, it sounds like you bring some real world experience in there for the students.
Well, we're lucky. We have people like Nick, who has taught adjunct for us in the past. So we actually reach out and have some of the working professionals in the region be our instructors, and that's incredibly important. Right now, we have instructors that are working in the industry, and they can almost take that job to the classroom and they can work through some projects. For those that don't have that connection or maybe aren't working in the industry, meaning students that aren't working in the industry, we try to design projects that maybe meet a goal or fill a requirement for a local company or a nonprofit or something like that. So we'll have a project that we're doing as a whole where they're learning those skills. In addition, and just as important, Thompson Surgical is a partner on a number of our advisory boards. And Diana, those advisory boards really give us input to curriculum. They can look at us and say, hey, this is where industry is moving. This is where we're moving. Or we have so many of your students in X category, but we need to see an improvement in this skill set. And that feedback's vital for us because that allows us to keep our programs relevant and meeting their needs. So two different ways that we interact with industry.
I think that's so important to have those skills that are in demand right now. Stephanie, you talked about wanting to have, not only folks to meet the jobs that are available now, but how you're still looking out in advance, in the future to make sure that you have that pipeline. What is the demand within the industries that you serve right now? What kind of job growth and availability do you see for people who are thinking about getting into this line of work?
I think that, in the region, we do hear a lot about new businesses moving here. And so I think that there is that potential for growth at Thompson. We have been focusing a lot on OEM projects for other companies. And so we're seeing growth, and we anticipate continuing to see that. And these positions, they really help enable our whole R&D team to work faster and launch new products faster. And so that's what we want to do. And so in order for us to keep growing, we see the demand for these positions growing as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For folks who may be making a career change or thinking about, doing the training that it would take to get into this, what's the payoff on the other side? If you look at wages and benefits and salaries, working conditions, if they are looking to make a career change or start a new career, what would that career look like as far as an impact, on their family lives, on their budgets, on their bottom lines? What is that experience like?
Okay, so the engineering tech position would be a full-time position. Business hours, Monday through Friday, more likely an early start to start with some of the early engineers and production crew. Pay-wise, it would be anywhere from $15 to $25 an hour based on experience. And then we obviously have room for growth within the company as we continue to grow and as we see people working hard and earning those positions. And then as I said, we're very family focused. We're also we're an ESOP, so we're employee owned. So what that means is that the employee is really heavily invested into the company. The more profitable the company is, the more profitable we all are. And so that, I think, is huge for everybody. And we also offer insurance. We offer all of the regular benefits, vision, dental, holidays off, birthdays off, things like that.
Oh, I think that sounds great. There's some nice incentives there for sure. Thank you, Stephanie. Well, speaking of incentives, if you're interested in the idea of some of the opportunities at Thompson Surgical, you think the training that Jason talked about sounded good and interesting. What about having to pay for the training, and how do you get a foot in the door, and is it accessible that way? Let's bring in Paige Sansonetti. Paige, when it comes to paying for this kind of training or college classes, certificates, welding, engineering, tech, you name it, what kind of options are there for some help in getting paying for it?
Well, to start with, just at NMC, we have around $1.7 million in scholarship funds available. And 92% of students who apply for a scholarship receive one, with the average amount being $1,300.
There, sounds like there's a lot of help available. And those are just scholarships. And Paige, you talk, there's scholarship, there's grants, there's financial aid through the government, but there are also two new programs, one that is just getting started and one that's coming online in the spring that really could be of benefit to people, especially in the state of Michigan. That would be Futures for Frontliners and also the Reconnect program. Can you tell us a little bit more about both of those?
Sure. So the Futures for Frontliners is for anyone who is an essential worker in the spring who hasn't received a degree yet. And it helps cover tuition and fees. There's an application through the state of Michigan. The deadline is December 31st. And then you could use those funds to help starting in the spring all the way up until next fall. So even if you're not sure if you want to start classes, I would highly recommend filling out the application.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't, what do we say? You can't hit if you don't swing, right? So even if you're not sure, definitely go ahead. And Paige, one of the things that you told me before that I was surprised to hear, that how many scholarships are not handed out because people didn't apply for them.
There are lots of scholarships. We have a lot of niche ones with very specific interests, especially for our tech programs where we're just not getting enough applicants. Only 25% of NMC students actually applied for scholarships. Wow. So we have a lot of funds available. Please apply. We award all year long. We always have funds available.
Well, I know some of the paperwork can be a little overwhelming. I have a child of mine who's getting close to getting ready to go to college, and I think about all the FAFSAs and all the other forms, and sometimes people just think, you know what, I know it might be helpful, but it's a little bit overwhelming. What kind of, human resources do you have available to help people, just conquer the form fatigue? What can you do to help us?
Well, through NMC, we offer a FAFSA completion. You can sign up for one-on-one assistance through our website, whether it be a phone call or a Zoom meeting where we will walk you through the FAFSA. We also have an information session that we record and do live webinars that cover pretty much everything, the basics of financial aid, comparing costs. We also have a session on scholarships, how to apply, and what to do once you're awarded. And these things go for any college. And even if you're not coming to NMC, we are here to help you through the whole process.
I think that's really important. As a community college, we talk about being our community's college because we are really just a resource, whether you stay here or move on to another institution. But I know working closely with our industry partners here locally has been a really important part of our work too. Jason, when you hear what Stephanie and Nick talk about, and when you think about the students who you have seen come through the program and who have been successful, what are some of the characteristics that you think, either spark that passion from students or the kind of skills that they may bring to the table that really help them succeed at a business like Thompson Surgical?
Yeah, I think regardless of the position, whether it's the engineering technician or a welder, you just have to have somebody with that desire. That's a desire to kind of investigate, to troubleshoot, to kind of be imaginative on how to solve a problem. So, they're dealing with very high-end equipment there and high-end product. And so they have to be precise. I mean, there's a lot of obligation to their consumer in the healthcare side to come up with a device that meets those demands. And so we're looking for somebody that's very detail oriented, that likes to use their hands, but that's not necessarily a prerequisite, Diana. We're seeing a lot of men and women come to the program that are just interested. Maybe they're coming out of a high school program or a career tech center, or maybe they're kind of reinvesting in their career and they're a little bit older and they're coming back into our program. All can be successful. What we're looking for is for somebody that wants to learn, that has that aptitude and skills, and is kind of willing to take those classes and invest in a company like Thompson Surgical.
And like Paige was saying with the Michigan Reconnect and also the Futures for Frontliners, a lot of opportunity, especially right now with the assistance from the state, in addition to scholarships, in addition to federal financial aid, a lot of opportunity for people who may want to pursue a new path, may start on a new career. And it sounds like with the benefits that they're offering at Thompson Surgical and really investing in those employees, there may be some real room to grow there. Well, folks, we are just getting ready to wrap up this conversation. If you are watching and you're interested in this, you can find out more information at nmc.edu/reset. We will have links to Thompson Surgical. Thank you, Stephanie and Nick, for all your information today. It sounds like a great opportunity for folks to really get their foot in their door for a good position locally that really has some potential for growth. So thank you both for letting us know about those positions and for the good work that you're doing at Thompson Surgical. Thank you, Jason, for letting us know more about the programs that help support that training. And Paige, thanks as always for helping us understand some of the financial resources that are available for folks also. So important. And again, you can find out more information on Thompson Surgical and the jobs available, the training to support it, and others in this series of conversations at Ready, Reset, Go, nmc.edu/reset. Thank you.